Welcome back sa inyong paboritong background noise. At welcome back din, meron tayong matagal na nating hindi nakakasama na bisita. Meron tayong bisita today, Russell. Ito
Uy.
ay one of my favorite persons in this world.
Welcome
So,
home. Oo,
matagal ko na siyang hindi nakikita.
Galing sa dahig ba to?
Ay, hindi ko favorite yun.
Okay. Akala ko na bring home na siya eh. Hindi pa pala.
Iba to. Ito, mas magugustuhan din ninyo ito at kilala na ninyong lahat ito. Matagal ko na itong di nakikita dahil di niya na ako binibisita dito. Pero, so we welcome back. Ang ating pong guest ngayon ay si Simona de Beauvoir. Hindi, joke lang.
Ang ating
Doc
resident,
Joyce!
si Doc. Welcome home and welcome back, Doc.
Yan, natin siya. Bring back.
Thank you for having me.
Ito yung resident philosopher natin, si Doc Joyce.
Yeah. Anyways, wag na natin patagalin to. Ito po muli si Lennon.
Ako naman po si Russell.
At ako naman si Joyce.
At ito ang Tamang Usapan.
Usapang may tama.
Yun. Doc Joyce is now in the Philippines, no? Kamusta naman ang mo, Joyce? Diyan, yung 7 months na. Namimiss mo ba ang ulan? Ngayon, tag-ulan na ulit dyan.
Tag-ulan na, so parang Scotland na lang din. Okay naman. Hindi naman ako masyadong nahirapan mag-adjust. Actually, I'm glad to be back. And I'm glad to be in a warm climate. And I mean that both literally warm and also it feels warm to be home. Namimiss mo ba, Lennon? Para kay Lennon to eh. Para, siya eh. Mainggit siya.
Mainit ngayon dito, summer.
So, sa mga listeners natin, kung matatandaan ninyo ay si Doc Joyce ay isa sa mga kasapi ng Women Doing Philosophy in the Philippines. No? And salukuyan siyang nagtuturo sa mga kinikilala nating pamantasan dito sa bansa. Interestingly, sa topic natin ngayon, at feeling ko may mga estudyante akong makikinig nitong episode na to. Ano ba topic natin ngayon? Hindi, ayoko i-require kasi baka maging Pandora's box eh. Matuklasan nila yung ibang mga thoughts
ibang
ko.
Episodes.
Baka ako. Ma-censure.
Episode number ba to?
Ito ay 80s na to. 80-something na to pagka lumabas to.
Grabe, no? Grabe.
And remember, si Joyce ay bisita natin, I think, way back episode mga 14, mga ganung early episodes. Kaya
ang dami na.
Grabe, no?
At wala pa rin kaming improvement.
Sabog pa rin.
Anyways, we will be talking about, dahil sakto in-invite din natin si Doc Joyce, and of course, we know that Russell is now also teaching sa college, sa university students. We will be talking about, well, in a way, sensitive, but also an important topic, no? So, how do we teach gender and society in the classroom setting, no? So, ano ninyo? Kayo ang dalawang nagtuturo. Wala na akong
episode na to
tinuturuan.
ay lang naman to, pagbabahagi na ng kuro-kuro para to set perspectives lang kung ano ba yung gender, yung notion ng gender, then ano ba yung role mismo ng gender sa society. Ang isang objective ko personally sa pagtuturo, yung at least ma-eliminate yung mga extreme na bias against people or group of people or their specific beliefs, their orientation, or their preferences, if so to speak. No? At the same time, yung mga misconceptions siguro. Misconceptions, yung syempre saan nagsimula. Kasi kung meron tayo, naniniwala ako, kung meron tayong klarong grasp kung saan nagsimula ang mga bagay-bagay, mas magkakaroon ng linaw yung direction eh. Ngayon kasi parang ang dating sa akin, sa primary reflection, kumbaga, initially sa sa environmental scanning ko lang, kumbaga, yung ina-appropriate lang natin yung western situation eh, na parang okay, may ganitong movement and it's a good thing supposedly. Meron namang nobility sa intent to uphold rights, dignity of people of various beliefs, no? Pero mapapansin mo rin, lagi na rin associated minsan sa violence, no? Either verbal, minsan nagiging physical. Tapos ano ba talaga yung discrimination? When we are talking about gender, meron ba talagang discrimination? How do we address or how do we talk about it? Then we have safeguards, no, placed by law for the upholding or the preservation of human dignity. Then you also have these long-standing institutions like the church, like the family, like the communities, for example. Tapos yung examples pa ng indigenous communities, indigenous cultural communities, o indigenous peoples, wala silang concept ng mga makabagong terms like yung gender, wala naman yun sa sa ancient narrative or sa indigenous culture. Yun lang, yung mga ganon. Kuro-kuro lang para magkaroon lang ng perspektibo na hindi lang pala to content sa TikTok, or hindi lang pala ito panghunyo lang na pag nagmarcha ka sa BGC, wala namang marcha dito sa Lower Bikutan ng di ba? So baka something din siya na related din siguro ito sa social status, kasi apparently yung mga nasa rural communities o yun sa mga hindi highly urbanized na lugar na konti lang yung population ng mga ganong adherents, wala namang ganon na mobile advocacies, for example, so to speak, mga ganong ang ko lang din, gusto ko lang, ako personally din, gusto ko lang din maliwanagan, baka makatulong yung discussion with Doc Joyce na ako, paano ko i-approach yun? Paano ba? Kailangan ba? Alam mo yun, merong overarching feeling na kapag ito yung topic, tapos, halimbawa, pari ka, teacher ka, professor ka, professional ka, kailangan parang you have to parang
tiptoe.
Nagtitiptoe ka kasi baka maka-offend ka. Ano mo yun, yung kailangan maingat na to the point na unnatural yung diskurso. Pero yung ang gustong objective, gawing natural ang mga bagay. Pero pag-uusapan, dapat hindi natural kasi makaka-offend, makakasira ka ng parang gano'n, no? Parang, am I making sense? So parang,
Yes.
ano bang dyan?
Yes, you're making a lot of sense. Nagdo-notes ako as usual.
Natuwa nga ako kay Joyce.
Habang
nagno-note siya.
nagsasalita si Russ.
Parang ang nasa therapy kasi nagno-note siya habang nagsasalita.
And how did
At
that
libre
make you
ito, ano?
Joke.
Nasa swerte at libre.
So, if you will allow me, sasabihin ko lang yung mga nabanggit mo very briefly, and I'll give you some initial thoughts that I have. So you mentioned kasi medyo malawak no, yung salitang gender in society yung tinuturo ni Russell, as I understand it, right?
Yes.
ang daming ano dito, ang daming pwedeng puntahan. At medyo nagkaka-ideya ako ng kung saan ba tayo pupunta base dun sa inilahad sa atin ni Russell. Kasi he was saying something about about it having to do with the elimination of biases, about it having to do with some misconceptions, at yung pag-appropriate. Ito yung isa sa mga punto na pinaka nagustuhan ko sa sinabi ni Russell, pag-appropriate natin ng mga tradisyon na nandyan sa kanluran at ginagamit natin. Okay, sige, dahil ngayon sikat na. So, ngayon, pinag-uusapan na ng mga halimbawa, ng mga British philosophers. For the first time, pag-uusapan na rin natin as if, nauna sila. Kasi gano'n naman, that's how it goes with most of, most things ideological and non-ideological alike. So, isa din sa mga isinulat ko dito, yung binabanggit ni Russell patungkol sa safeguards that are placed by law, by the church, by family and communities. Which I suppose is something then na it's something that is interesting to me also. I believe na, so don't quote me on this or maybe we can check it later. But I believe that in terms of laws in place, parang Pilipinas ay isa sa mga may parang assessment nila to dati nung nasa DepEd pa ako. No, parang
Dati pong
assessment
secretary
nila
ng DepEd si Doc Joyce.
Oo, ako pa yung secretary ng DepEd back in 2017. Sa pagkakaalam ko sa mga ASEAN countries, tayo yung kino-consider na pinaka-progressive pagdating sa mga polisiya on gender. Siyempre, iba yung pagkakaroon ng polisiya at iba yung
Implementation.
Ang implementation at iba rin yung nagre-resulta mula sa polisiya, 'di ba? Kasi on paper it looks good, right? Pero what is happening, like, right? So yeah, I like that. And I think that speaks also to the fact na tumitingin din nga tayo dun sa mga mas malalaking mga bansa sa kung paano tayo nag-a-address ng problema. Kasi yung mga nabanggit natin, yung batas, yung simbahan, 'di ba? Parang yun ay hindi rin naman yun hindi rin naman siya produkto ng sariling atin 'di ba? Tumitingin din tayo sa kanluran. So pati yung pag-i-implement natin ay ganun din. So yeah, I like most of these things. I would just like to say that there are plenty of other things that people talk about when they talk about gender. It's not always about violence. It's not always about harassment. Kung philosophy of gender, for instance, pag-uusapan natin, siguro metaphysics is one is one such way in which we can look at it. Now, what is it ba? Kasi ang metaphysics, ang tinatanong niyan ay ano ba yung nandyan? Ano ba yung what is there? Ang tanong ng metaphysics, right? So social ontology right now. So paumanhin medyo theoretical, pero babalik tayo sa I'm hoping na makakabalik tayo dun sa sa lupa.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. Ay, sorry, Russell. Sige, go ahead.
Hindi. I mean,
okay.
Lang kung medyo theoretical kasi we know Doc Joyce. She always have her way of explaining it clearer naman after giving these chunks of thought na naman din. We have experience
Gusto ko na mag-enroll sa kanya
Oo nga Kaya parang gusto ko maging estudyante mo, Doc. Parang pwede bang
private sessions. No.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry. So, yeah, social ontology ngayon medyo siya, no? Hindi ko talaga mahiwalay yung yung politika na nangyayari sa academia at saka yung politika na nangyayari sa kasi okay, social ontology medyo malaking usapan na rin siya ngayon sa filosofiya. Kasi pag sinabi mo namang ontology, so nabanggit ko kanina yung metaphysics. Ang metaphysics, ito yung disiplina na inaalam kung ano ba yung nandiyan dyan. And very relatedly is the idea of ontology. Kung ganun din, what exists. Except, siguro yung pinaka gist lang nito, kung para lang may distinguish natin dalawa. Para kasi yung ethics at morality eh. Di ba alam kung ano yung difference eh. Diba? Pero yung metaphysics at ontology, may isang nagbanggit ng distinction niya na ang metaphysics ay nililista niya kung ano yung mga bagay na nandyan. So para siyang listahan ng lahat na parang ang purpose niya is to survey what sorts of things exist. So for instance, may mga nag-exist na na properties, simula tayo sa objects, may mga nag-exist na objects, may mga nag-exist na mga katangian ng mga objects na yun. May mga nag-exist na mga universals. So, for example, yung humanity or humaneness is a universal, pero the human being is a particular. So, yun yung tinatalakay ng metaphysics. Ngayon, medyo patungo na yung literature dito patungkol sa paano yung gender. Ano ba yung gender? Ano yung sinasabi natin pag sinabi mong babae at lalaki? Because if you look at Soji, for instance, Soji is sexual orientation, SOGIE, no? Sexual orientation, gender identity expression. Marami na ring versions niyan ngayon. Pero like yung pinaka-initial iteration niyan ay sexual orientation, gender identity expression. At sa Soji, it looks at gender from various, I would say, they have different ontological status kung gagamitin ko yung salita ng metaphysics. Kasi merong naturalist way of looking at whatever this thing is, which is, well, it's just biological sex. Diba? That's the naturalist way of looking at it. It's nature. At hindi yan sa atin lang na tao, na makikita mo yan sa mga hayop, diba? Meron sila, may male, may female. Pero iba yung gender expression, iba rin yung gender identity. So anong bagay yun? Yun yung isa sa mga pinoproblema ngayon ng social ontology na hindi ko siya inaaral in particular. It's just napupunta lang siya sa radar ko ng mga kapag gusto kong mag-seek out ng other readings kasi nakakapagod na magbasa ng epistemology. So, bakit? So, ipapart ko muna yun. Sabihin ko lang na nabanggit ko yun kasi gusto kong sabihin na ang usapin ng gender ay hindi lang naman tungkol dun sa mga violence at hindi lang siya tungkol sa harassment, right? But it becomes salient once those things are brought up. Sige.
Yun nga eh. Ang idea ko nga, the way I began at least reading yung halimbawa yung sa gender and development, yung sa memorandum ng CHED for the inclusion of this in the instruction. Rich yung discourse eh. In a way, may initial na discourse na malawak supposedly, pero sa Philippine experience, nakukulong lang siya doon sa violence, sa harassment, discrimination, inequality. So, ang dating, I can also resonate with that. I agree also. Yung supposedly noble intent na mag-explore and to really uphold yung dignity ng tao, na-hijack siya ng politika. Kasi dito sa Pilipinas, ang tendency, yung politics natin at work, yung for something to be really, mabigyan ng tuon ng atensyon o pansin ng publiko at saka ng gobyerno, kailangan mo may issue. Kailangan may issue, tapos i-exacerbate mo yung issue, sasaksakan mo ngayon ng media mileage. So pag nag-gain siya ng traction, ayan na, magiging usap-usapan na. Ngayon, hindi genuine kasi ang mangyayari, reactionary yung approaches eh. So kaya, ang ganda supposedly na kung may intent talaga tayo to go beyond yung, in a way, quote-unquote, kung hindi ko alam, no? For the sake of the argument lang, kung parokyal ba talaga tayo mag-isip and gusto talaga nating magkaroon ng dialogue, no? Kailangan hindi lang reactionary at hindi lang maiwan sa pagiging issue-based yung usapin ng gender, ng equality. And ako, gusto kong, ang paniniwala ko, etong philosophy of gender, mas maiintindihan ng Pilipino ito kung ang simpleng ano lang nito ay women empowerment, yung genuine na respect and empowerment for women in employment, in education, in media, 'di ba? Yung ang laging na-highlight lang nga kasi violence, then harassment, then inequality na kailangan ganito yung pagkakapantay-pantay. Pero sorry if the way it appears to me, para siyang superficial kasi pag napalitan siya ng bagong issue na mas maingay at mas sensational sa masa, iwan na lahat. Iwan yung cause, iwan yung pag-uusap. Tapos, we'll pick it up kapag may issue na ulit. So we are not really doing the discourse due justice and alam mo yun, parang ewan ko, I might be wrong, pero parang ganun yung dating sa akin.
I perfectly agree. Yeah. Kapag nga, actually, so this reminds me, kasi sa kasalukuyan, ang mga tinuturuan ko, mga GE mga GE subjects. No? Ay, hindi naman mga general education subjects. So, ethics, understanding the self, ganun. I remember na sa understanding the self, part ng syllabus nila ay so ang ganda ng syllabus ng understanding the self, by the way, kung share ko lang. Kasi siya nagsimula
siya. Gawa ng CHED? Oo, maganda. Na-review ko Talagang may mga primary references pa nga ng mga psychologists and philosophers
Yes.
Tapos, watered down na sa anyway,
Yeah. Tapos, di ba, parang ang sinimulan nila sa iba't ibang teorya, anthropological perspective of the self, philosophical, psychological, sociological, etc. So, may part doon deconstructing the self. May part doon that discusses sexual self and gender. So, naalala ko yun kasi tinignan ko rin yung mga readings. Minsan kasi nagdi-deviate ako doon sa suggested na readings Magsasuggest ako ng ibang readings interesting sa akin yun, yung gender and sexual self. And I just brought that up to say na kapag yun na yung usapan, sinisimulan ko yung discussion by saying na wag nating i-politicize at wag nating i-moralize. So, papasok tayo sa discussion without yes, we carry these colors, di ba? Sometimes we feel, kasi syempre understanding the self, no? So, at that point, naisip na rin nila na parang, ay, pati pala yung politics ko is something that I wear as an identity. It's like a shirt that I wear. So you go into class discussing gender, but let's maybe take off those political colors as we do that. And maybe let's not moralize things.
Phenomenology, di ba? Iba-bracket mo muna.
Yes, perfect. Yes, like phenomenology, exactly.
Kasi hindi mo dapat i-generalize Hindi mo rin dapat, yun ang ng phenomenology, hindi siya absolutist yung approach So you just approach one phenomenon at a time. As according to itself, as how it presents itself. So without any bias or ascriptions ng previous na school of thought mo di ba? Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, ano nga ba yung tawag doon? Eidetic reduction, no? Parang para magkaroon ka ng para marespeto mo yung inquiry. Kailangan mong tanggalin yung biases. Ganda nung Lennon.
How do you deal in a very practical manner? Kasi syempre kayong dalawa nagtuturo kayo, nasa classroom kayo, you are teaching university students. Hindi natin maiiwasan, no? Especially 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds na pagka ang usapan ay gender, ayan nga, yung mga more than just the violence, more than it, may mga reactions minsan na di ba? na parang hindi naman 'tong parang mga high school pa rin 'tong mga 'to, may jeering or baka may mga side comments. How do you address that, kayong dalawa? Para maging civilized yung discussion kumbaga sa
Yung mga
classroom setting.
reactions. So, sasaglitan ko lang kasi sa akin kasi ang tingin ko kasi magkaiba kami ng mga estudyante ni Russell eh.
Yeah. I can share
hindi
my
siya, walang
experiences.
Wala siyang one size fits all approach eh. Like, so ako nagtuturo ko sa Lasal, nagtuturo din ako sa PUP. Ibang uri ng mga estudyante yan all together. Nagtuturo ako sa Lasal, feeling ko ang pinaka, syempre, kung iisipin mo yung demographic, di ba, ng mga estudyante na pag-aaral sa Lasal, mga at least nasa mga middle class, upper middle class, right? I mean, with a few scholars here and there. But for the most part, these are, they have some kind of socioeconomic privilege. But they are also, for lack of a better word, I don't want them to be, I don't want to stereotype them. Pero for lack of a better word, they have the woke politics. So you don't really get those kinds of reactions. If you get those kinds of reactions, they will be immediately shut down. Actually, at best, what I actually gotten those reactions. At best, I encourage them to speak their mind, and to listen to each other when someone is voicing something out. So, pero iba kasi yun nga eh. So, gusto ko marinig yung kay Russell. Baka iba yung experience niya.
May ganun nga palang ngayon, no? May ganun ng maxim eh. We listen and we don't judge. Oh, ganun din ako. Pero yung mukha ko, my face says it all eh. I listen, I don't judge, but my face says it all. I mean, well, sa experience ko,
sana nakikita nila yung face mo, Russell.
Ako may video lang to.
Yung mga students ko, they will. Ayun nga, kasi yung students ko are criminology students. Criminology students sila. Then, ako kasi, di ba, kakasimula ko lang din naman sa life na ito. I mean, unlike Joyce, mas may experience na talaga siya sa academic life eh. Ako, practical yung approach ko sa kanila. Na kapag may mga jeering na kaya talagang unruly, no? Unruly na yung dating, especially on sensitive topics. Talaga hindi ko pinapalagpas, no? Well, prudently pa rin, hanggat kaya ko naman, yung diplomatic yung approach. Well, ang unang sinasabi ko, lagi kong entry, as you all know, part-time instructor lang ako and meron lang ibang trabaho. At hindi ko kayo kilala. At hindi ako nandito para maging babysitter nyo. So, conduct yourselves honorably, professionally. Kasi ang tunay ko sa inyo, kadete. So, huwag nyo i-expect ako na kada bulong-bulungan nyo, sisitsitan ko kayo kasi hindi ko yung gagawin. Kasi binabayaran nyo ako dito para matuto kayo sa akin. So, kung ano yung alam ko sa topic na to, at the same time, paano ko may integrate yung trabaho ko bago ako pumunta dito sa classroom. By the way, bago ako dumating, maaga akong dumadating to prepare personally, physically, mentally, psychologically for the class. So, yun, sa orientation, sineset ko na agad yun. Nilalatag ko na agad sa kanila. Then kapag yun nga, nung pag mga specific topics na halimbawa, ini-elaborate, then they will find it interesting, so to speak. So mag-garner siya ng reaction. Ang lagi kong kino-contextualize. So sa criminology students, ang lagi kong approach ay, well, hindi naman sa pang-stereotype siguro yun, Doc, pero lagi ko sinasabi, darating yung time kasi ako, I wish that all of you will graduate and become uniformed personnel yourselves. Kasi you will be contributing a lot sa peace and order and public safety. And we are talking about lives here. So, not only the lives of others, but your lives, your families, your loved ones. At the same time, especially ito, gender and society, you will be encountering most of this in your uniform life. Kasi sa policy, yun, totoo naman din, sinabi ni Doc Joyce, grabe ang policy movement when it comes to gender and development, no? Gender development, GED. Eto, mai-encounter nyo to, and sana hindi doon sa wrong side ng batas na kayo yung kinakasuhan nito. But rather, magiging law enforcer nga kayo eh. Tapos, hindi kayo equipped to address or to how to handle sensitive cases like this. Paano kayo aasahan ng bayan? Baka iniisip nyo lang, hahaw kayo ng baril and tawag mo dyan, mangtutugis lang kayo. Kaya mang-entrap kayo ng mga academics na galit sa gobyerno. Hindi, joke lang. Ibig ko sabihin, hindi lang yon. Hindi yun ang peace and order. Hindi yun ang public safety. I mean, hindi siya to romanticize. Sinabi ko yun, yung anecdote na yun eh. Na kayo, may ate kayo, may nanay kayo, may kapitbahay kayong babae, mga bata. Yung literal na safe silang uuwi and panatag yung isip nila at pamilya nila kasi may presence kayo. And hindi lang yung presence, equipped kayo how to handle every kind of complexities. Kasi sabi ko, believe me or not, itong topic natin, I hope you will remember this when you are already in the profession. Why? Things will become more and more complicated. Kasi gaya tayo ng gaya sa Western culture eh. Especially in the US. So mapapansin niyo, alam ko, mas babad kayo sa social media than me. Alam niyo na yung movement ito is going more and more intense and more complicated. Dito nga, halimbawa, yung nakaraan nga, so yung context nung nakaraang away tungkol sa pronouns. Hindi isyong Pinoy yun eh. Pero ngayon, appropriated na sa Pilipino. Nagtatalo na tayo sa pronouns. Wala naman tayong issue sa pronouns for the longest time, ba? So, darating yung issue yan. How you'll handle it? I-dismiss nyo yung tao, pagtatawanan ninyo, o i-detain nyo ba kasi sumagot sa inyo? Sabi ko, these are serious matters. Ayun, makukuha ko yung attention nila for a short time then until gugulo ulit. Pero yun, kino-contextualize. Tapos yung isa kasi, mga tourism. May isa akong klase na mixed yung criminology and tourism. Sabi ko, hindi ko alam kung anong wisdom nito, pero sana, I believe may wisdom yung institution, bakit kayo pinag-mix, no? Pero, so every time masyado na akong tactical in my approach, susubukan ko rin namang i-translate sa civilian, no? Kasi tourism is hospitality services yan, di ba? Yung more on yung sa ganung field, at the same time aesthetics, diba? Yung criminology, wala namang aesthetics yan eh. Walang yan eh, strike and withdraw, diba? So may objective ka, may mission analysis ka, you identified your target, you perform the operation, sibat ka, then you create your report. Ang tourism, hindi. Even in the details. Doon ko pinagkakasundo yun. Na both of these, hospitality services and law enforcement operations, by nature, this has to be surgical. So sabi ko, kaya nga ang approach natin dito, normative, descriptive, tsaka critical. So, normative kasi, ayokong opinionated, ayokong subjective. So we use laws. Magna Carta Magna Carta of Women, you have the RA 11313, yung Safe Spaces Act, RA 9262, Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act, all of this. Even the Philippine Constitution sa Article 2, Section 14, klaro. The role, the state recognizes the role of women in nation building. So talagang merong provision for this. Very rich when it comes to, so to speak, yung yung pagpapahalaga, no, sa sensitivity when it comes to gender, no? We have to be surgical, yun sinasabi ko. So descriptive kasi no other reference but yourselves, how you experience this reality or phenomenon as you yourself. Tsaka sinasabi ko, dahil nga ito ay personal reflection, at the same time meron siyang communal o collective na nature dahil gender and society. Di mo naman kasi mahihiwalay kasi nga sabi nga dun sa definition ng UNICEF at saka ng CHED ang gender nga na tawag dyan, mas maingay yung aso sa akin yung gender, ang definition niya is yung role and responsibility associated to males and females in the society. Depende kung family ba, kung church, or kung anong social collective. Whereas yung sex, yung biological sex, yun yung biological reality as male or female. Pero, so tulad nun, we have to be surgical, kako. And descriptive. So kung descriptive, personal experience mo, pero it does not mean na open yung kaklase nyo, nagsishare sila ng experiences nila, may lisensya kayo na i-judge sila o pagtawanan sila. Kako, I will consider that as an offense and I will really report it to the administration. Kasi may wisdom Ang intention ng institute is for all of you to learn So we are really taking this seriously. Then critical kasi gamitan natin ng independent na self-thinking. Hindi yung hindi yung kuro-kuro lang ng iba. No? Your own lived experience. Kasi for sure, your classmates will resonate and mas may enrich yung discourse Kasi we are actually putting human face dun sa struggle. Hindi lang anecdotal, hindi opinionated. At the same time, hindi bloated yung data, hindi exaggerated. So, objective. Still, it's objective. And culture culture appropriate. Parang ganon. Ewan ko kung organize yung thought ko. Pero that's how I began. And that's how I address yung apparent immaturity ng mga bata. Especially kapag medyo tabu kasi yung sex Tabu yung seryosong usapan Apparently, ang tabu nga sa atin, akala natin pag tabu ang isang bagay, naka-reserve siya sa matatanda. Pero even mga matatanda, hindi pinag-uusapan yun Kaya nga mas matalino na yung mga bata Mga matatanda, hindi na rin ma-educate kasi matigas na kahoy na makunat na. So, wala na rin. Hindi na receptive. So, ganun lang. Ganun yung atake ko sa ganun. Hindi pa naman ako nag-resort sa atake na talagang atakehin ko yung bata. Pero, let's see what happens sa semester. We don't know.
Itatakel mo, no?
Di ka titigil,
Wala bang violence against men, protecting? Pag inatake
pero
mo sila.
mind you, may ganung contest doon sa RA 9262. Kasi nga 'di ba, napakatapang na nung anti-vowsy law na ang may provision nga doon na yung it's the word of the victim or of the complainant against the suspect. So hindi na kailangan ng ibang ebidensya. The word of the complainant will stand in court, 'di ba? So napaka protecting siya sa kababaihan, sa mga kabataan. Tapos may mga nagko-contest doon na paano naman kapag lalaki ang biktima, ganyan. Diba? So, makikita mo yung disparity, yung gender disparity, yung apparent na ano ba talaga, may inequality ba? Kasi bakit super yung pag-favor dun sa may mga ganong critique at the same time, mga nuances ng discourse when it comes to this.
Marami akong thoughts. Simulan ko muna
go.
sa isa. Marami tayong, ang tingin ko dito, mas pagtapos ng podcast ito, mas marami tayong tanong kaysa sagot.
Yun naman.
Totoo.
Yun na naman lagi ginagawa namin.
Which is good, diba? It's good. There's room for more conversations. Hindi naman ito yung huling episode eh.
Yay!
Isa sa mga naisip ko habang kinikwento ni Russell yung kanyang experience teaching yung mga criminology students. Also interesting sa akin na pinagsama yung tourism at criminology students at some point. Parang, ano kaya itsura ng discussion na to? Pero what I find peculiar siguro is so first I love hearing about how passionate Russell is sa kanyang pagsasermon. Kung pwede ba nating tawaging sermon yan sa criminology students. Pero parang medyo napapaisip ako kung nagiging interchangeable ba sa atin yung salitang gender at women. Because I think of gender, I think of women's issues for sure. Yeah. That's because that's my advocacy, but I don't really think that problems concerning gender, particularly yung mga cases of yung mga harassment is just it's just one part of the problem. Kaya nga, yung nakaraan nating napag-usapan, di ba, epistemic injustice, di ba? Parang, it's a different kind of injustice. It's not, hindi siya yung uri ng injustice na na kapag kinomit mo yan, makukulong ka eh. Na kapag na-violate mo yung batas, makukulong ka. Hindi eh. Ibang injustice yun eh. Injustice yun ng pagre-respeto ng kaalaman ng isang tao. Base sa mga katangian niya na nakikita mo. Diba? Visible characteristic. Yung isa kong naiisip na maaring maging blind spot kung i-equate natin yung salitang gender sa women ay baka we might end up failing to see how sexism, misogyny, but most importantly, patriarchy are harmful also to men. They don't just do harm to women. They are harmful to men. So, I find it interesting that you said kanina yung definition ng UNICEF ng gender, roles and responsibilities assigned to members of the society. Tama ba? Sa UNICEF definition ito. Baka mali ako
i-review ko yung notes ko. Pero definitely yan yung CHED Memorandum Number 1 Series of 2015. Yeah, mahaba yan eh. Tapos yan yung unang sentence eh, yung
okay.
Wait lang to. Nandito. Basa kapatid. Ito yan. Nasaan na yan? Yan. Memorandum Order Number 1, Series of 2015. So according dito sa kanyang definition of terms, yan, page 5. Gender refers to the roles and responsibilities of men and women that are created in the family, society, and culture. UNESCO pala siya. Inadapt siya ng CHED from UNESCO. So the concept of gender also includes expectations held about the characteristics, aptitudes, and likely behaviors of women and men.
Medyo mas kauna-unawa yun na UNESCO kasi UNICEF sa pagkain yun eh.
Oo nga, sorry ha. Oo nga.
Kasi meron din sarili yung UNICEF. Ito.
Ako ba ang nagana?
Nasa siya, tawag dyan? UNICEF Glossary of Terms and Concepts on
Pwede
Gender
rin kasi
Equality.
sa children yung UNICEF di ba? Tama ba?
Oo, sa children.
Ay, sa bagay. Oo nga pala. Sa children niya pala yun.
Talaga father eh.
Di pala sa pagkain.
Oo.
Una sa lahat, maaring alam mo naman kung paano ang mga department memoranda, Russell. Baka ito ay operational definition dito lang sa memorandum. Pero
doon nga yung understanding ko din eh. Parang kung meron ka ibang paniniwala, okay lang. Pero pagdating sa document na to, ito ang working definition natin.
Itong tinutukoy ko.
Huwag kang release dito. Kung may iba kang paniniwala, sige. Pero dito hindi. Ito tayo.
Yes. That's so good. That's so good though. Hindi ko never ko pa tong tinignan tong ganitong definition kasi syempre ako naman ang lagi kong blind spots ay hindi ako lumalabas sa sa mga academic articles sa pagtingin ng mga ganyan eh. So thank you for bringing this to to my radar.
Hindi kasi
Yeah.
ang struggle ko, Doc, yung naghahanap talaga ako ng working definition for my class. Kasi
Of
ang
course.
una kong hinanap nga sa philo eh. Sabi ko, ano ba ang philosophical definition ng gender? Tapos dinala nga ako kay yan, sa feminism and then. Sabi ko, teka, this will be too much for my students to digest kasi minor lang ako na subject eh. Hindi naman sa minor na walang kwenta, pero hindi pa super rigorous. So kung major nila ay gender studies, okay. Sige, yun ang yun ang direction ko. So talagang struggle ko maghanap ng balance na, well, for me, the way I see it, kumbaga balanced na perspective or definition na it can really work for all of us in the class. Kaya ito yung nakita ko eh. Tapos ito rin mismo yung reference kung bakit may gender and society na subject sa GE. So ito yun na instructing establishing policies and guidelines on gender and development in CHED and higher education institutions. So ito yung ginamit na reference. Okay din. Sabi ko, yung pala gender, hindi ko alam eh. Kasi akala ko gender, pwede mo siyang i-interchange sa sex, di ba? So, ganun pala yun.
Iba siya eh. Ang ibang, ano ba siya, iniisip ko kung saan mo siya mas malapit na mas ikukumpare. Pero kung titingnan mo yung pagka-cluster ng salitang gender sa mga ibang oppressive concepts, for example, or oppressed concepts, or concepts of oppression, halimbawa, lagi siyang nakakabit so gender, kinakabit sa salitang race, kinakabit sa salitang class, at ikakabit mo rin siya sa salitang disability. None of those things are, diba? Hindi mo sinasabing sex eh. Sasabihin mo gender, race, class, at disability.
Ethnicity.
And ngayon, religion na rin. Kasama na siya.
Pero, Doc, if I may just comment dun sa una mong napansin, the tendency, at least, eto, baka ko lang, pero siguro sa mga napansin kong communities where I used to engage, yung totoo ka dun, kapag gender, parang tantamount sa women's rights eh. Kasi ang yung mga God officers o God units, yung gender and development, ang advocacy nila is more on the protection of women and children, women's rights, women empowerment, equality. Yun ewan ko, parang yun ang understanding sa Philippine context siguro na hindi mainstream academic. Siguro yung
blurred yung lines.
Oo, totoo. Kaya minsan nagiging compliance lang yung gender and development na kapag March, papaprint tayo ng t-shirt na kulay violet. Tapos yun na, wala nang naghilom na ang kababaihang Pilipino. Kapag nakapagsuot ka ng violet tuwing Wednesday kasi wash day. Napaka-superficial. Napagtatawanan natin. Pero yun yung context yun yung sitwasyon na parang missed opportunity sana to really promote healthy and really genuine education for all. Pero wala, iwan. Yung pamphlets nun, nilalangaw na, papalitan na lang ulit next year ng bagong pamphlet. Same content, iba lang yung layout. Tapos, mahal-mahal ang bayad mo sa layout artist. Kung hepe ng publisidad sana sa San Pablo, Madrid, baka libre. Di ba? Si Lennon, ganyan-ganyan lang si Father, pero hepe ng ano yan ng editorial yan.
Ang hepe. Parang pulis lang.
Parang pulis dito, Pads. So, pero yun, mga ano ko lang yun, rants lang, no? Kasi missed opportunity ang gender pala iba. Hindi lang pala siya women's struggle o women's rights. No? Maski ako, limitado ako eh. Ngayon ko lang din napansin yan eh. Kung hindi mo pinoint out, yun ang yun ang takbo ng ng utak ko eh, na this is feminism na practical, in a way, practical feminism, how to really address yung gaps and challenges when it comes to the differences, yung glaring inequality and the strong tendency for abuse, no, against women and children. Iba pa pala. Meron pa nga yan yung spectrum eh. Pero hindi ko pa siya masyadong na-explore kasi ang kinakatakot ko baka part siya ng woke ideology o yung woke agenda, which is tingin ko parang hindi siya pang gender and society kasi ayaw ko academic ba yun, Doc? Yung wokeism na tinatawag, hindi ko rin alam. Actually, hindi ko rin alam. At the same time, yung wokeism, yung spectrum, yung gender spectrum, yung gender continuum, ganun ba? Yung wokeism, are these academic in a sense na na-initiate ba siya sa academic discourse o phenomenon siya na eventually inaral na lang, or ideology ba siya? Indoctrination ba siya? Ano ba yung parang... Kasi di ba yung isang doon, yung isang... Ano ba tawag doon? Trend bang matatawag yun, Doc? Or Pads yung... Hindi ko alam kung nangyayari sa Spain yan. Yung... kasi I identify as this. So I am a male man or a male person, but I identify as a female and I should be treated as one. Tapos yung complexities nun na magfa-follow dun, like biological male identifying themselves as female, joining female category sports, or entering female correctional facilities, or wala pang correctional facilities, yung comfort rooms na lang. So something like that. Tapos yung parang definition nga, I think it's from, merong dyan sa JSTOR ko ba nakita yun? Yeah, merong yung gender dysphoria na tinatawag kasi yung the distress being caused when one's biological reality is not aligned with their preference. Ano ba sabi dito ni ito Cooper, Kate et al. Sa Clinical Psychology Review 2020, distress due to a discrepancy between one's assigned gender and gender identity. So hindi ko alam kung si Sheldon Cooper to, pero yung mga ganun. Ito ba, nasa realm lang ba siya ng psychology? Nasa culture studies ba to? Political ba to? Paano ba? How to make sense of this, Doc? Kung ako na neophyte sa ganitong usapin, and I just want to really give my students the best education for this, in a way, hanggat sa kaya ng maabot ko. How to handle this prudently.
Mm-hmm. I thank you, Russell. And also, baka hindi ka aware, medyo napuputol pala yung connection mo kanina. So, but I kind of got the gist naman of what you were asking. So, I think that's very interesting. Ang una mong tanong, so I'm trying not to hyperfixate on this because I'm a philosopher. And I tend to hyperfixate on definitions. So when you ask, ang wokeism ba, ano ba to? Academic ba to? Indoctrination ba to? Ideological ba to? I'm like, oh my God. Okay, Joyce, hindi mo kailangang i-unpack isa-isa yan.
Yes. And sorry kung kung it causes that kind of that kind of alarm.
It's
sorry.
okay. No problem. Siguro yung pinaka quick na answer is pag sabong indoctrination, ano kasi yan method of siya of teaching that doesn't quite hit education. That's indoctrination. It's like it presents itself as teaching, but it doesn't quite hit the target of what education is aimed at. So you cannot really say that a subject matter is indoctrination. It's the process of providing information that you can say is indoctrination, right? So to get that out of the way, it's not going to be an indoctrinate. It depends. You can indoctrinate someone to be woke, in much the same way as you can indoctrinate someone to be dogmatic about a particular religion. So indoctrination goes both ways. Para siyang yung medyo closely related siya dun sa idea natin of grooming. It's an educational concept. Yung isa, kung ideolohiya ba siya, yun yung kind of worms na ayokong buksan. Kasi yung salitang ideolohiya ay marami nang sumubok na bigyan ng kahulugan ito. So iba siya para kay Theodore Adorno, iba siya para kay Karl Marx, at iba siya para sa akin. Kung academic ba ito? Academic ko ba yung wokeism at gender spectrum? I would say that nothing is ever likely non-academic. Pero mas maganda yung naging anggulo ng tanong mo kanina na kung ito ba ay phenomena na ipinag-aralan at sinusuri ng mga akademiko. At sa palagay ko, yun yung pinaka-appropriate na sagot. Ito, isa itong phenomena na inaaral ng mga akademiko. At relatedly, you were discussing gender dysphoria kanina. So, I think the reason why the question is important is because tinitingnan natin yung academia bilang lehitimong source ng knowledge, even though it has its problems.
Kasi hindi agree si Cynthia Villar dyan, Dok, eh. Kasi ayaw ni Cynthia Villar yan. Oo. Puro ka.
Research daw kasi.
Puro ka kasi research, Dok, eh.
Alam mo, Russell, parang feeling ko nag-come up din to dun sa una na nung nag-guest ako before. Or,
ano ba? Hindi ko na maalala.
Anyway. Just as a comment na parang, ay, issue pa rin pala to. Ito pa rin, hindi pa rin nagbabago. Sikat pa rin sila. No, so yung sa gender dysphoria, well, you were citing a text na no, so that is already one way of being academic. If the question is it a legitimate term to be used to talk about a legitimate problem, yun nga parang ang academia ba yung daan para illegitimize natin ang isang social issue? Well, kung gender dysphoria yung pag-usapan, mas specific, no? It is definitely a psychological phenomenon, no? So, kung hindi ako psychologist but if we are basing it on the studies out there for gender dysphoria, definitely it will be about it will come from the discipline of psychology. So, if we are to say something like, hindi naman siya nag-exist, yun, mahirap siyang, hindi ko siya masasagot kasi yun nga, in the first place, hindi ako psychologist. Pero siguro parang it would be the same as, i-question ba natin, for instance, yung existence ng, for example, stress. Yung stress, it has both, physical manifestations, but it also has, people would have their own self-reports of what it feels like to be stressed. And we don't say na stress is something that doesn't exist because those two things may appear incongruent, diba? So ano ba? And many other psychological phenomena would have a similar trajectory, I guess, kung paano natin siya pinag-uusapan, diba? Pag pinag-uusapan natin mga mental health issues, yes, stress would be one of them. Yun nga, meron sa physical manifestation, meron ding psychological manifestation. I don't want to go the route of saying that something is not real because it is it comes from psychology. I'm not gonna go there. So I think it's definitely real. I think it's more. I think to criticize it would be in the same line as criticizing psychology, and whether or not psychology is really talking about real things. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Doc Joyce. It's very enlightening for me, especially. And I will not lie na kahit ako talagang siguro that's the reason why many of us have the tendency na mag-tiptoe when it comes to dealing with this. Kasi it apparently is an uncharted water eh. Uncharted waters in sense na so much to explore, pero alam mo limited yung knowledge, yung aptitude to properly handle and navigate through these complexities. Well, if these are actually complexities at all in the first place. Pero yun nga eh. Ang isang kritiko lang dito, have we really gone into this moment na talagang complex na talaga ang ating society in a sense na we are really dealing with this? Or in a way, unwittingly, yung political turmoil ba natin na in a way keeps us backwards, yun na lang ba yung last thread na nag-preserve sa atin from going full-blown Western-like or mainstream na tayo sa parang Western na thinking eh. Kasi, I mean, yung previous na discussion namin ni Lennon on resiliency, yun nga eh. Kung titingnan natin sa root cause analysis itong mga societal ills natin, eh, it all boils down to politics eh. Yung political system natin na yan, dynasties and whitewashed policies na maganda lang sa papel, pagdating sa implementation, pagdating sa dissemination o cascading, wala na. So, thank you kasi it really proves na ang academe, independent organ talaga siya ng society na talagang it can really shed light, pero yung quality ng light na matatanggap natin depends sa kung hanggang saan natin i-allow yung academe. So pwedeng okay academe, nandiyan kayo, pero hindi, ano pa rin kami? One pa rin kami, Davao pa rin kami sa 2020. Parang ganun. Mga ganun lang, mga komentaryo lang yan. Something like that. Ayun, ikaw, Pads, ano bang ano mo dyan? Kung ikaw tatanungin, may mga struggles ka ba dyan? May mga...
Marami ako ini-struggle. Hindi.
How do you make sense of this? Being a Catholic priest and the same time academic, the same time OFW. Yeah.
Dami namang etiketa. No, actually, just listening on sa discussion ninyong dalawa, especially ni Doc Joyce, kahit yung sharing ni Russell, it opened my eyes sa like for example nung binanggit ni Joyce yung sa ontology. So sabi ko, inisip ko kasi dati pag gender yung usapan, more on sa ethics mo yan may ilalagay, sa sociology, no? Pero hindi ko na okay, so meron din palang ontological Diba? Sabi ko, okay, so I'm learning something new actually. As a church, no? We are kasi ito isa sa mga myths, no, na the church condemns those who are having gender dysphoria na banggit ni Russell, o kaya wala siyang masyadong pakialam sa women. Yun yung mga myths eh. But that is contrary to the truth. The church cares for everyone because for the church, again, the dignity of the human person is very important because we are created in the image and likeness of God. No? Although, of course, mayroong that it is still true na the church maintains her moral teachings, no? A certain moral teachings na pwedeng contrary sa beliefs ng ilang movements o ilang mga grupo for the rights of the marginalized parts of society na maaaring magko-conflict doon. Pero at the mula sa puso ng simbahan, hindi niya kino-condemn yung never nagko-condemn ng simbahan ng mga tao. Actions, maybe, pero tao, hindi, no? It is also true na there is medyo hindi naman sa masyadong kaunti o wala talaga, pero siguro masasabi natin na hindi pa gano'n karami yung mga magisterial documents that is directly answering, no, itong questions ng gender and society, itong ating mga usapan ngayong araw, no? Pero mayroong mga magisterial documents na if you will read it, it is not ano condemning, no? It is actually very pastoral in the sense na karamihan ng mga magisterial documents is guiding people who will be responsible to these people, no? So wala siyang yung more on the theoretical, no? More on sa pastoral, sa practical. Paano mo i-guide yung people, like for example, who feels homosexual tendencies, for example, no? So if I can cite some documents, I think one sa women's dignity, ito luma na to at maraming hindi nakakaalala at nakakabasa. Si John Paul II pa to, yung kanyang encyclical na Mulieris Dignitatem on Women's Dignity, no? 1988 pa yon, and that is a very good document. Pagdating mo naman sa current na, well, before ng current, balik tayo ulit kay John Paul II, meron siya yung Theology of the Body naman niya na talking about the love and responsibility, about our corporality and things like that, no? And then you have medyo mas modern, I think 2019 naglabas yung Congregation for the Catholic Education nung document na ang title niya sa English, na pag narinig mo parang baka para siyang discriminating, pero ang ganda nung document na yun. Kasi ang title niya ay Male and Female He Created Them. No? So parang, okay, so parang na to discriminating. Hindi, actually, una kinote lang niya yung Biblia. Pero pagka tinignan mo yung document, may clear lang yun, madali siyang basahin. Ilang paragraphs lang yun. Very very accommodating. Actually, ito, teka.
Yeah.
Mabasa ko
May
isang-
subtitle siya eh.
isang-
Ang subtitle niya ay Towards a Path of Dialogue on the Question
On the
of
question,
Gender Theory. Gender
Oo.
Theory in Education.
Ito, number 40, sabi niya, the Catholic school should be an educating community in which the human person can express themselves and grow in his or her humanity in a process of relational dialogue, interacting in a constructive way, exercising tolerance, understanding different points of view, and creating trust in an atmosphere of authentic harmony. No? So, maganda siya. Hindi siya, it's not condemning in any way, no? And
Yeah.
there are more Catholic literature, no? Hindi ko alam sa English kasi, at least dito sa Spanish, may, at least dito sa, namin, sa editorial, pag-publish kami ng 2 ng libro. Yung isa, actually, pinablish namin without thinking na magkakaroon siya ng commercial success, but it turned out na meron siya commercial success. Ang English title niya, kung may itatranslate siya sa English, ay Homosexuality, The Reasons of God. Ang kanyang author ay si Miguel Zambrano. Is a committed Catholic but in a relationship. Pero maganda siya, nagkaroon siya ng commercial success kasi ibig sabihin mayroong even within the church there is a need for answers, no, guidance towards the pastoral. More on, kasi alam na natin
Approaches.
sa morality, yung approach lang natin sa kapwa-tao natin. Yun ang mga importanteng ano. Anyways, if you can see, this discussion really is ako personally, I've learned so much, and as you can see,
Yeah.
wala pa. Nag-ano pa lang tayo sa surface, di ba? Very general. Sabi nga ni Joyce kanina, nagsabi siya na hindi daw itong huli. O, di ba? So, pwede natin siyang invite ulit kapag meron na
Yay!
talagang malalim ng mga klase ni Russell. No? But before we, Joyce, can you give us some references ng mga ma-recommend mo for further readings?
Yes.
Especially kay Russell magtuturo.
This is... I'm having a decision paralysis. So, ang dami.
Reliable ba yung reliable ba yung writings ni Hindi, tatanong sa ako, reliable ba na si Sian Gasa ay yung notes, mga writings si Sian Gasa o ni Prince Umpad. Pwede ko bang gamitin yun? Reference sa yeah, while thinking kay Doc Joyce, ang akin lang, since na-open din, kanina din, may nasabi rin si Joyce kanina dun sa yung vast na learning resources from the academe. No? Kaya nga minsan, tendency nga, nagiging another, hindi ko siya ma-language ang maayos pero yung pagkakwento ko nga na may definition yung CHED memo, tapos Joyce, for example, academicians like Joyce, mas trusted nila kasi yung academic works kasi nga naman well studied, well thought, no? Tas hindi politically motivated. Ang point ko lang, tapos yung sharing ni Father Lennon, yung vast documents, well reflected, well studied. Baka pwede next episode natin, bukod dito sa nasimulan natin dito, yung knowledge management. Very curious ako dyan sa kasong yan. Kasi, alam mo yun, especially nung pagputok ng internet, there's just so much knowledge readily available in just a single click. And yet, ang dami pa rin bobo sa atin. Sorry. Ako bobo ako di ba? Nandun pa rin ako alam mo yun, yung gusto ko lang sabihin, meron palang mga ganitong nag-exist na documents, and we claim, as people of the internet, na knowledge or information is just so readily available. And yet, yung illiteracy pa rin, yung apparent na inaccessibility natin sa knowledge, parang wala pa rin Kaya tulad niyan, ito, yung sinasabi ni Joyce kanina, talagang relate ako doon. Why? Kasi documents, government documents, memos, memo orders, memo circulars, meron niyang sense of urgency. So, sasabihin ng kung sinong implementer o yung originating office, sige, kailangan na yan agad kasi papa-check na agad, papa-approve, especially kung may funding doon. So, mamadaliin. So, very limited yung study. Tapos, tulad yan, definition of terms, mag-iimbento na lang ng terms. So, madadagdag na siya dun sa library. Until, nangyayari, dahil nga may politics behind it, minsan, accessible lang siya o available o applicable within a certain administration lang, then rendered irrelevant pagdating ng bagong administration. Unlike yung talagang academic study na it outlives generations, administrations, even trends Yung kahit laos na yung mga bagay-bagay pero nananatili siyang relevant Yung gusto ko sana siguro maimbitahan din natin ulit si Joyce dun sa ganung usapan na paano nga ba yung pagkakaroon ng knowledge management. Issue yan ngayon Ewan ko kung familiar si Lennon doon sa Pero ewan ko sa Doc Joyce, parang ano yan, di ba? Issue yan ngayon, yung knowledge management. Maraming government agencies, yan ang ano ngayon. Yan ang racket. Yan ang area of concern. Kasi kailangan, ewan ko, baka may funding dyan. Kasi nga daw, kailangan i-manage daw yung resources and yung knowledge. Wala lang. Naisip ko lang nung nag-share si Lennon dun sa document si John Paul II, tapos alam mo yun, untap na siya kasi ang dami nang na-introduce na concepts and arguments. Pero yun, mga valid pa rin naman yun. Parang gano'n. Ayun, ikaw na, Doc. Okay na ako.
Recommendations. First of all, para sa audience ng podcast na to, hindi po ako doktor. I'm still doing my PhD. And marami pa rin akong natututunan. Nabanggit ko rin daw bago kami mag-usap na parang I suppose I would claim expertise on particular subject matters for sure. Yeah, but I am still also learning. So, in terms of the recommendation, so siguro ngayon, ang kaharap ko kasing libro ngayon, ito eh. Pero may sentimental value kasi itong libro na to kasi binigay sa akin to ng kaibigan ko nung pauwi na ako ng Pilipinas, galing ako sa Scotland. But this is just a handbook. So I wouldn't say it's intimidating. It's called The Feminist Killjoy Handbook by Sarah Ahmed. The title, The Feminist Killjoy, I suppose is something that would resonate with anyone who's ever really had to stand by a political commitment that they might have had to voice out in a room where people don't really agree or where people are would be likely to dissent. So I would probably say this is one of the medyo accessible, sabihin natin, na libro at hindi siya academic na uri ng libro. Yung pangalawa, naisip ko si Bell Hooks, she's an icon. At meron siyang librong isinulat called Feminism is for Everybody. At yung pangatlo, nabanggit din naman nila Russell kanina at then bahagi ako ng isang grupo called Women Doing Philosophy. Yung pangatlo ko, i-recommend hindi talaga siya about gender. It's more of you're seeking resources that were about philosophical resources. I would advertise that you go to a website called Beyond the Ghetto .substack.com. In yung page nung yun yung newsletter nung Women Doing Philosophy. And there's plenty of resources there and plenty of events that we advertise. Every now and then we talk about gender, but this may surprise you, but gender is not the only thing women talk about. Sorry, I was being sarcastic. We also talk about justice and other subjects in philosophy. It's just women doing philosophy, but it doesn't necessarily have to be gender. So, ayan, yun yung 3 recommendations ko. And I'm really happy na you asked that.
Thank you, Joyce. And well, una na-miss ka namin at invite ka namin ulit pagka pwede ka ulit ha. Kasi it was really an honor to have you here, para may naririnig din naman kami ibang voices, maliban sa mga voices sa mga utak namin. Sa inyo po na nandito pa rin sa bahaging ito, maraming salamat sa pakikinig at sa pakikisama sa amin. If you find this topic very important and helpful to you and you know someone na baka gusto ring makisali dito sa usapan, please kindly share this to them, And also, if you have a topic in mind na you want us to discuss para pag-usapan natin dito sa paborito ninyong background noise, send nyo lang sa amin dito alam nyo na kung paano kami i-contact, You can comment down here kung nasaan man to, kung sa Spotify man to, sa Apple or sa website namin. Or you can just message us on our socials or on our email, tamangusapanpod@gmail.com. No? So, again po, maraming salamat. Ito po muli si Lennon.
At ito po si Russell.
At ito si Joyce.
Ah.
At ito ang Tamang Usapan.
Usapang may tama. Ano po ito ba?
Yun. Bye-bye. See you next
Bye-bye.
time.
Thank you.
Bye.